Well, what sort of state is the squad in after a couple of weeks without games then, Matt?
Yeah, pretty healthy. Obviously, we had a break, so we had a week off after the Glasgow game. Give the boys obviously an opportunity to get away, and some of them got a bit of sun and took their minds off rugby for a little bit. And then last week we were in a bit more fitness and conditioning to give them a little spike. And then obviously probably from Thursday onwards last week, it's been all eyes on Ulster.
How's the prop crisis looking now?
That's okay. We got obviously cover, and we're looking to get cover in. There's nothing to confirm, probably be later on in the week, but obviously with Nicky away and Rodri and Gar with their injuries, it has left us a little bit short. So we're looking to bring someone in on loan, but that'll probably be confirmed more Wednesday, Thursday this week. So I haven't got an idea of who it is, to be honest, at the moment.
From another Welsh side possibly, or from elsewhere?
Just where we can get the best quality prop that we can get in. Obviously with that it depends. Your hands are tied really on what there is around and who's willing to let somebody go, but obviously we'll be searching for someone who's as high quality as we possibly can really.
So Duncan Jones running around in training, thought it might be a sensational comeback?
No, we did ask him to, but then we watched him train for 5 minutes and changed our minds. So.
What about the tight head situation?
Matthew Fear's pretty much back to fitness. He's probably be involved at the weekend if he comes through this training week. Obviously we got a session left and a team run on Thursday, so that's looking a little bit more healthy now. And obviously Tom Botha, so we're pretty good with that side of the scrum. So.
In terms of releases from the Wales squad, any expected back?
I don't expect any back, to be honest. No, I think in the autumn, Wales wanted to keep numbers there for the quality of their training. Obviously, they need 15 against 15, and most of our players really are starters or in the squad. So I think it's about trusting the boys that are here, and obviously thinking back to Connaught in the last block in the autumn at home at Bridgend. They did a job for us. We'll be looking to repeat that.
Yeah. What about the situation in the table? Couldn't be much tighter with 4 sides, I think, covered by 2 points.
Yeah, it's very tight, isn't it? It's almost tightened right up from the top as well. I think there was a danger of Glasgow and Munster maybe pulling right away, but they've had a couple of results that's almost drawn them back into the pack. So between us, the Blues, Connaught, Glasgow, Munster, Cheetahs sneaking a couple of wins as well and drawing closer. It looks like it could be an interesting last 7 or 8 games for us.
Do you think there's a realistic chance of you or someone else overhauling those top 2 at the moment then?
Well, I think if we can get close to, I think once you get within a win, then there's obviously an opportunity to do that. I do. Obviously, it's my 3rd season in this league now, and this period is massively is crucial. I know most coaches will probably say it, but whilst the internationals are away, we get hit pretty heavily with that. The backup to your squad and their ability to grind out results, if we're honest, against other squads that have been hit quite heavily as well, will determine where you finish at the end of the season. Obviously, after the next 3 or 4 games, you get your reinforcements back, and then you're hopefully picking from a full squad. So there's no getting away from it. The next 3 or 4 weeks are crucial, really. That'll determine what the end of the season looks like. If we're in touch after these 3 or 4 games, which I expect us to be, then you look to pick off Glasgow and Munster.
Any players coming in from the Wales under-20s setup?
Obviously Tian's in the 20s set up, but we're keeping him with us. He's going to be important to us. He's played really well against Connaught and over in France a couple of weeks ago, so it's another opportunity for the likes of Tian to put his case forward. He's been fantastic for us when given an opportunity.
And what are you expecting from Ulster then as opponents?
I know Ulster pretty well. Obviously, Dwayne Peel is the Ulster attack coach. I worked with Dwayne at Bristol when he made the transition from player to coach. So as you'd expect with a scrum half coaching, they're pretty positive. I think they make the most passes in the league. They look to play a pretty good brand of rugby. So hopefully, if the conditions dictate, it should be a pretty exciting game. But they're a good team. they obviously lose boys to the Irish setup, but if you look at their backup, they're a pretty strong province.
And your head coach Alan Clark, are you particularly keen to do well against them?
Yeah, obviously it's any time you play as a player or a coach against an old team, I think you probably try to tell people it doesn't give you an extra little bit of an edge or motivation, but in reality that familiarity with the rest of the staff and the players does probably give you an extra 10% in the week. So yeah, it'd be a nice one to try and get a win for Clarkey against his old province.
And what about the Brewery Field? As you said, you won your first league game there, but obviously not quite as pristine a playing surface as you would expect at the Liberty, maybe, with the weather around.
No, it's hard to compete with the Liberty, to be fair. But I think I spoke to the groundsman yesterday actually, and he said they're putting a lot of work into it. They're trying to make it obviously as hard and as fast as they can. But genuinely, from the last experience there, I thought it was really positive. It was great. Obviously, there is a danger when you come to work as you go from home to your training base and back home again. For me personally, and I know a lot of the boys felt like that, to go somewhere else and to go to another part of the region, and even little things that people don't probably think make a difference does. We got off the bus and there's a load of kids from the Bridgend juniors there and clapping the boys off, and it was just a different experience, and I think overall it proved to be a pretty positive one. It's obviously much smaller, a little bit more of a cosy environment, but that adds to the atmosphere, and as I said, for me personally, it was great to go and see another part of the region, really.
And for yourself personally, as an Anglo-Welshman, how the next 10 days going to be in the squad?
Not too bad. I try and keep my mouth shut for as long as possible, really. But no, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks, isn't it? I know all set up for two teams with 2 good wins. When is it? Week Saturday, isn't it? It should be a cracking game.
England have scored a few more points though against the French, for example, same opposition.
Yeah.
England coming as favourites? I
don't know really. I don't think it'll count for anything when you go to the Principality on a Saturday. We've had Sean Edwards in today coaching, so you know, from speaking to Sean, Wales are in a good place. I don't think it'll be a one-off. It will be a one-off Test match. I think probably take a moment of brilliance or a moment of luck that will swing it.
George North had a couple of moments of brilliant pursuit come opportunity handed to him, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I think that's credit to him really. How often do you see you give up on those type of kicks? And like actually Sean does a lot of work on reading intercepts and actually how you take an intercept from so you don't slap the ball down, you push the ball up, and those little drills that take minutes of my units that annoy me come off for Wales. So no, I'm pleased for George. I'm pleased for all the Ospreys boys. Owen, I thought, played really well against Italy as well at the weekend. So nice to see him get a try.
In terms of just going back to that England performance last weekend, are they almost? We've spoken about the kicking game a lot this year, and are they sort of raising the bar in terms of that kicking game and how teams attack and use that kicking game?
Well, I don't know. We've been criticised for kicking the ball. So now all of a sudden, England are the best team in the world. They kicked the ball, I think, 47 times at the weekend. Probably if France would have caught those, they'd have kicked too much because they scored off them. It was a genius tactic. So look, I think what England have. They're playing smart. They've got very good ball carriers. So if you look at all their attacks, they get Tuilagi on the ball, second phase, Billy Vunipola, third phase, Mako Vunipola. So they're a team that are same as everyone, but they're built on momentum and they've got very good ball carriers. If they lose 2 gain lines on the trot, they're looking to go aerial because in 9 and 10, Ben Youngs and Owen Farrell, they've got world-class halfbacks who can put a high ball into the 15-metre channel. And you can actually see from some of their social media, the footage they send out on their training, they're doing an awful lot of work on aerial skills. So, look, the game's pretty simple, really. If you can go forward, you stand a good chance. And you know, if you lose momentum from your forward from carrying, then it makes sense to go to the air. But you know, credit to England. They've obviously probably seen something in the French defence, and it was a plan that came off.
This is a challenge in terms of coaching back 3 players now in terms of opposition and their kicking game and and the threats they can cause by different
Oh,
across the
it always has been massive, but I do think now, look, defence is very organised. If you look at all the Six Nations games, I think 4 of England's tries come from a kick. One, it was Ireland's try come from a kick through, mistake by Scotland, Conor Murray scores. If you look at all the games, they're from, little kicks through, turnovers. There's very few games now that you watch, if you actually study them, and there's a 3-man overlap or someone's created something. So even one of England's little plays, they come back on a short side, kick through, and I think they score off that third phase. So I actually learnt a fair bit when I went to New Zealand for a couple of weeks, and they talk about attacking the backfield space, so they don't term it as kicking. Right. So obviously all attack coaches will say attack space. They say that, if the defence had loaded front line, let's attack the space with the ball in the backfield. So it's just another way of attacking space, and you need, you have to have good soft kicking skills to be able to
I suppose that's
to make it count.
Like you mentioned in the past, you came in for criticism after that Ulster game for the kicking game, but if you get it right, it can be and that's the foolish thing would be to kick a lot and not practice winning the ball back. Yeah. So a lot of our kicks are in high field position. So obviously 3 or 4 kicks a game, you probably think you could have run that, but I could probably then show you 3 or 4 times we won it, and I'm saying we probably could have kicked it. So I think the key is about balance. What England have got now, and which is what everyone wants to get to, is any defence coach that come up against them has got to cover off their kicking game. Temptation may be to focus on defending the backfield. England are smart, so if they leave an extra number in the backfield, they can play to space with a pass as well. So it's just it's all about balance. England, France, I think they've definitely seen something. Huget moved to the wing. They probably felt that they could. Huget moved to 15, didn't they? They probably felt that there was a little bit of an opportunity with a kicking game. Just in terms of Dan Lydia, how is he?
Yeah, I watched him train yesterday actually. He's obviously in our kind of return to play well group. So he trained with the academy group with Dan Baker actually yesterday, and it was, like, for me, it was brilliant to see Dan Baker running around and running lines. Someone we miss, probably a out and out ball carrier in the back row. So I think over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, they're going through their return to play protocols, but I've seen, obviously, mainly Dan's been conversations, both Dan, sorry. Yeah. Now it's great to see him running around with the ball in their hand, so they're getting closer and closer, yeah.
And this period, obviously, the Irish challenge, it's going to be a big test here.
Yeah, it is. Look, what you can guarantee playing Irish sides, they're always very well coached. So that there's never, in the 2 years I've been in the league, even at Bristol in the B&I Cup, I've never played a Paul Munster. I've never played a Paul Lentz, they've got very good player pathways, so they've got good school programs, good academy systems. So it's a tough ask. I think if you're honest, it's not a time to play them as well. They're obviously centrally contracted, so they lose as many as we do. So it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure.